It was very surreal. I think we could see it on the horizon and we kept putting it off. We would have guest stars, recurring guest stars come up, whether it was, Kumail Nanjiani or Kyle MacLachlan, people who had worked on the show since first season, and they would experience their own sense of finality or loss. And Fred and I kept putting that off. Like, well, this is your last day and we're very sad and it feels very bittersweet. And then finally the day for our, sort of last scene arrived, and yeah, it was a little strange. It was hard to really feel the totality of it, I think, at the moment. But yeah, there were definitely tears. You go into it thinking that there's going to be some kind of stoicism or, just there's a lot of uncertainty. And when it actually happened, it was very, there was a sense of immediate, I guess, devastation. And it's just it's a lot of years, 8 years. I think the intimidation factor in that we were gathering a group of, in this case it was all male guest stars, who hold a certain amount of sort of cultural currency, both in the lives of Fred and myself and our co-creator Jonathan Kreisel. They're all from these pillars of sort of Indian alternative rock. We had Henry Rollins from Black Flag, we had Chris Novoselic from Nirvana, we had Brendan Canty from a legendary band called Fugazi from Washington, D.C., and then at the end of the episode, not in a band, is Terry Crews, who I'm a huge admirer of. So we just have these, these sort of very kind of powerful men who, some of whom I've been admiring since I was a teenager. Being a teenager, you feel very disempowered. You don't feel like your most confident self. So kind of allowing myself to sort of be the one that was in control on the set, to be the leader, despite the fact that part of me was looking through it with kind of a teenage lens and a teenage sensibility, thinking, oh my God, here I am with 3 of my favorite, rock stars of the last 25 years. I would say it's a natural extension, but I realize it's not, because the same season I directed 2 episodes, Fred directed 1, and immediately realized that he didn't want to direct, which I actually think shows a real self-awareness. I think everyone sort of thinks everyone's a polymath, and I feel the same, where if I do something, I want to do it well. But for me as a writer, there was just sort of the next level stage of execution I wanted to be in control of. I wanted to see how I could elevate the storytelling visually and figure out a way of shooting something that would, place another layer and texture onto the narrative. And so, yeah, I became really interested in directing and having control, I guess, over the sort of aesthetic vernacular of things. But again, I didn't feel like Portlandia I wanted to step outside that comfort zone, so I started to direct other people's TV shows, which I think was very helpful for learning, and so I'm continuing to do that.